For decades, humanoid robots were just the stuff of science fiction. Then they became these super complex research projects. And pretty recently, they've been the stars of some absolutely incredible viral demos. But something has fundamentally shifted. We've really crossed a threshold, and what was once a total fantasy is now becoming one of the defining economic opportunities for a whole new generation of founders. Okay, so let's just dive right into this, because this is the real question we're exploring today. If these machines are finally actually ready for the real world, who is going to build the businesses that put them there? This isn't just a technical challenge anymore. It's become an economic and strategic one. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start with why this new era is happening right now, then get into the economics that are changing the whole game. After that, we'll look at the three main strategies for taking these robots to market, explore how new founders can actually win, and then wrap it all up with a much-needed reality check. All right, first up, a new era begins. We are at a genuine inflection point where the thing that always seemed impossible is suddenly starting to feel, well, inevitable. This journey has been a long one, right? It started with stories and movies, then it moved into university labs, and then to those jaw-dropping demos we've all seen online. But now we're entering this fourth stage, economic reality. This is the moment the tech finally meets a real, scalable market need. So why now? Well, it's because of these three massive forces all hitting at the exact same time. First, you've got AI, which is finally giving these robots the brains they need to function. Second, the actual cost to physically build one of them is just plummeting. And third, industries all over the globe are facing these critical labor shortages. It's the perfect storm. And that perfect storm brings us right to the numbers that are making this whole revolution possible. This is Section 2, the economics of hardware. And wow, do the numbers tell a dramatic story. Just a few years back, this entire market was valued at less than $2 billion. But the projections now show it exploding into the tens of billions in the next decade. And look, this isn't just speculation. Serious capital, we are talking billion-dollar funding rounds, is already pouring into this space. So if you remember one thing, it's this cost collapse. A robot that once cost $250,000 is now getting close to the price of a car. That single change is the key. It's what unlocks entirely new markets and applications that were just completely unthinkable before. But here's a really fascinating paradox. Even though the cost of one unit is falling, the initial R&D to even create these machines costs hundreds of millions of dollars. This massive barrier to entry actually creates a kind of filter, a moat, that makes sure only the most serious, well-funded, and experienced teams can even get in the game. Okay, so the tech is ready and the economics make sense, but how do you actually build a company around it? That brings us to part three paths to market. We're going to explore the main business models that startups are using right now to create value. And this is a super critical distinction to understand. In a normal software startup, you're chasing revenue from day one. But in robotics, it's totally different. The new model is all about validation first. A single, successful pilot deployment in a real-world setting can be way more valuable than early revenue, and it can literally multiply a company's valuation overnight. So we're seeing three main models emerge. The first one is enterprise deployment. That's putting robots in structured places like factories or warehouses. The second is about creating a lower-cost platform for consumers or developers, usually built on recurring software revenue. And the third, and this one is potentially the most powerful, is building the robot brain, the software intelligence that could one day run on anybody's hardware. Okay, so you pick a business model. But here's the thing. You are not alone. The competition is absolutely fierce. Which brings us to part 4, how new founders win. The big question is, how does a new startup even break in? Just take a look at this landscape. You've got incumbents like Figure AI that already have robots deployed and working. You've got manufacturing powerhouses like Agility Robotics building at scale. You have tech giants like Tesla with just massive AI and manufacturing advantages. And then you have global disruptors driving down the hardware costs. It is a formidable lineup, for sure. So, this is the winning strategy. It's so important. You don't win by competing head-on with all of them. You win by being hyper-focused. Win one specific task, master one controlled environment, dominate one single industrial vertical. The scale comes later. Focus has to come first. To pull that off, you've got to align with the right wave of adoption. Wave 1 is industrial automation, where the return on investment is really clear and the environment is structured. Wave 2 is all about creating open platforms for developers and consumers. And Wave 3, that's the long-term play for software intelligence. Choosing the right wave for your startup is everything, because it dictates your entire strategy. And that brings us to our fifth and final section, the reality check. Let's ground this incredible opportunity in the very real, very tough challenges that every single founder in this space is going to face. Let's be clear, in 2026, investors are not funding cool demos anymore. That whole era is over. What they are funding are credible, experienced teams. They're funding companies with clear, achievable milestones, and they're funding businesses that can build a data moat, a unique advantage they learn from real-world operations. Proof has to come first. And the hurdles? They are significant. These companies burn through cash at an astonishing rate. The talent with real expertise in both AI and hardware is incredibly scarce. Safety and liability are huge unsolved questions. And let's just be honest with ourselves, full autonomy isn't solved yet. A lot of these systems still rely on a human in the loop.
But even with all those risks, the upside is truly historic. We could be looking at the birth of the next general-purpose machine, something on the same scale as the personal computer or the smartphone. The companies being built right now, in this decade, are the ones that will define that future. The race isn't for cool demos anymore. It's for building the durable, intelligent systems of tomorrow. So the only real question left is, who's going to build them?